So hello guys, welcome to chemistry class, and today we are going to learn about matter around us and what is mixture, what are elements, what are compounds, what are solutions, what is solvent, and what are different types of solutions and mixtures. So let's study matter around us. So basically matter can be classified as, suppose this is matter, so based upon nature it can be classified as solid, liquid and gases, and this thing can be classified as pure substances and mixtures. Now these pure substances can be classified as elements and compounds, whereas mixtures can be classified as homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Okay, now let's study everything step by step. Okay, now what is a mixture? So a mixture is nothing but it consists of one or more pure particles in a definite proportion or in some proportion. So mixtures can be classified as, but a pure substance is nothing but particles of same matter. Okay, so mixtures can be classified as homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So homogeneous mixture is nothing but which has uniform composition throughout. And what is heterogeneous mixture? Heterogeneous mixture has no uniform composition and it can be differentiated easily. For example, a mixture of salt and water. So this is a homogeneous mixture. And what is heterogeneous mixture? So mixture of NaCl, sodium chloride plus iron filings. So here you can see either two different layers, or you can easily differentiate between the particles of matter. Here you cannot differentiate between the particles of matter as they have uniform composition and they have mixed in a proper proportion or in a definite proportion. So this is the major difference. This cannot be differentiated and this can be easily differentiated. Okay, now what is solution? A solution is nothing but it's a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Okay, now when you think of a solution, you can think that the solution has homogeneity at particle level. That means the particles are uniformly present throughout the mixture and you can not differentiate between them. Now for example of a solution you can give as lemonade, then sugar solution. And one more thing, when you think of a solution, it does not mean that you have a liquid and you have something dissolved in it which is either solid, liquid or gas. Okay, we can also have solutions in which solid can have gaseous thing in it, where gas can have solid particles. So we will see some of the examples of solution in further class. Okay, next we will see the properties of solution. So what are the properties of solution? The first property is that the particles of solutions are very small. So their size is smaller than 1 nanometer in diameter. Next is the solution is stable. Okay, and the particles do not settle down. Okay, they are uniformly distributed. And the next thing is they do not scatter light, because the particles are uniformly distributed, so they do not scatter light. The next is that the solute particles cannot be separated from the mixture with the process of filtration. So with the process of filtration we cannot separate them. So special methods are needed to separate a solute from a solvent. So two things you should remember, that what is a solute? A solute is nothing but what is dissolved in it, and solvent is nothing but which has a solute. So basically solvent has solute in it in specific quantity, that makes a solution. Okay, now what is concentration of a solution. So concentration of solution is nothing but amount of solute present in a given amount of a solution is called concentration of a solution. And one more thing, what is saturated solution? A solution in which the solute dissolved at the point where no more solute can be dissolved in it. So basically saturated solution is nothing but the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a solution and further it cannot be dissolved. That is, a point where no more solute can be dissolved in a solution is called saturated solution. So amount of solute present in a solution is less than the saturated level is called unsaturated solution. Okay, so there are three methods to find the concentration of a solution. One is mass by mass, other one is mass by volume, and volume by volume. So remember, when you say mass by mass, the upper part is solute and the lower part is solution. So in the denominator you have solution, solution, solution. So mass by mass means mass of solute, mass of solution. So mass by volume is basically mass of a solute and volume of a solution. So name itself suggests the formula. So volume by volume means volume of a solute to volume of a solution into 100. So these are three methods to find the concentration of a solution. So the problem states that a solution contains 40 gram of common salt. So what is solute? Solution contains 40 gram of common salt. So solute is 40 gram of salt in 320 gram of water. That means this is a solvent. So what is solvent? 320 gram of solvent. So this is mass of a solute and this is mass of solvent. So mass of solution turns out to be 40 plus 320 gram, that turns out to be 360 grams. Okay, so calculate concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage. So what the formula suggests that mass of a solute upon mass of a solution into 100, right? So mass of solute is 40 gram and mass of solution is 360 gram into 100, that turns out to be 11.1%. Okay, so next is the concept of suspension. So what is a suspension? A suspension is nothing but it is a heterogeneous mixture. That means the solute particles settle down and can be easily differentiated. So the properties of suspension are: the solute particles settle down and the particles can be seen with naked eyes. Okay, next is, since the particles settle down and we can see the particles, that is the particles are unevenly distributed, right? So the solution can scatter light. So these are the properties of suspension, and suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. With this you can tell this. Okay, the next concept is of colloid. So colloids are very interesting because the particles are distributed such that they cannot be differentiated, but still due to their smaller size the mixture appears to be homogeneous, but it actually is a heterogeneous mixture. So they appear homogeneous because the particle size is very much small and the particles are uniformly distributed and they do not settle. Okay, that's why the mixture is very much stable, and colloidal solutions seem to be homogeneous, but in reality they are heterogeneous mixture. For example, milk. So the particles of milks are very much smaller and they dissolve so perfectly in water that we cannot differentiate them, okay, but it is a colloid. And due to the smaller size, they scatter light, and this is called Tyndall effect. And the mixture is stable, it is a heterogeneous mixture, okay. So these are three other properties, and this is a colloid. Now we will see about how can we separate some of the mixtures using some of the various techniques. So in case of heterogeneous mixture, we can separate them easily by the methods of hand picking and some other methods, but they can be easily separated, right? But in case of heterogeneous mixture, there are special techniques, and we will go through them one by one. Okay, now how can we obtain a color dye from blue black ink? So for this we can use the method of evaporation. So take the blue black ink in a container and heat it with the plate upside, okay. So when you heat it, all the dye comes in the plate and water remains in the bottom. So the next is separation of immiscible liquids. For example, take kerosene oil mixed in water. Take this solution in a container like this with the valve. So this is water, this is kerosene. So since they are immiscible liquids, water stays at the bottom and kerosene lies up. So with the help of a valve, simple valve, you can just turn on the valve and remove all the water slowly and carefully, and what you obtain in the flask is kerosene. So with this process we can separate immiscible liquids. So there are some of the other solutions, we will see how to separate them. So the next is separation of cream from milk. So we can separate cream from milk with the process of centrifuge. So it's a machine which rotates at a faster rate, so we can separate the cream from the milk. Now how can you separate camphor and salt mixture? So using the process of sublimation. So process of sublimation is nothing but you can convert solid directly into vapor form. So I guess camphor evaporates and salt remains at the bottom, okay. Now how can you separate two miscible liquids? So miscible liquids are nothing but which are uniformly mixed in each other. For example, how can you separate acetone? So with the help of distillation. So take a flask, so I will draw a rough figure, okay, just to go through the textbook easily so that you could understand. Now this is a vaporizing tube, and here we have another flask where acetone gets collected. Now this flask is heated. So here we have mixture of acetone and water. When you heat, acetone vapor rises up and they gets collected here, okay. So this is the process of distillation. So there are various methods of separation solution of miscible liquids, immiscible liquids, and some more examples are there like fractional distillation. Now we will see the types of pure substances. So pure substances are classified as elements and compounds, okay. So what are elements? So before going further, Robert Boyle, so he termed the name element. So elements can be classified into two forms. One are metals and other are non-metals. So metals conduct heat and electricity and they are malleable and ductile, whereas non-metals do not conduct and they are not malleable and ductile. So malleable and ductile means they can be turned into wire and that can be melted. So it can, for example of metals is iron, gold, etc. And example of non-metals is oxygen, hydrogen, etc. Now what are compounds? Compounds are nothing but the matter or the substance is formed with the composition of two or more elements is known as compound. For example, water. So it is formed by two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. That turns out to be a compound. So this is all about matter around us, and if you like the video, please do like, share and subscribe.